on the most dangerous battlefield in the Pacific, while everyone else was taking cover from a storm of enemy fire. One man ran back into the heart of the inferno. But this wasn't their strongest soldier. He wasn't their best shot. He was the one they called a coward. The one they'd beaten and cast aside for refusing to even touch a rifle. This is the story of how the man they left for dead became the only one who could save them. His name was Private Desmond Doss, a devout Seventh-day Adventist from the hills of Virginia who joined the U.S. Army because he felt a patriotic duty to serve. But he held one belief closer than any other, a conviction rooted in a framed picture of the Ten Commandments that hung in his childhood home. Right under an image of Cain killing his brother Abel were the words, "Thou shalt not kill." For Desmond Doss, this wasn't just a suggestion. It was an absolute. So he volunteered to be a combat medic, a man who would save lives, not take them. He would walk into the hellscape of World War II, completely unarmed. On April 1st, 1942, Desmond Doss joined the Army and was sent to the 77th Infantry Division. He thought his status as a conscientious objector would be understood. He was tragically mistaken. From the moment he got to boot camp at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, he was an outcast. While the other men learned to handle their rifles, Doss refused, pointing to his deeply held faith. His fellow soldiers just couldn't get it. In the middle of a world at war, where it was kill or be killed, a soldier who wouldn't fight wasn't just useless, he was a liability. The questions quickly turned to insults, and the insults turned to outright abuse. They branded him a coward. It was relentless. When he knelt to pray at night, his bunkmates would throw their boots at his head and curse him for it. They saw his quiet conviction not as strength, but as a weakness that put them all in danger. One soldier told him straight up, "Doss, as soon as we get into combat, I'll make sure you don't come back alive." His superiors weren't any more sympathetic. They saw this skinny, soft-spoken kid from Virginia as a problem for military discipline. They gave him the toughest duties, hoping he'd just break. They tried to get him discharged by declaring him mentally unfit for service, but he fought it. When that didn't work, his company commander, Captain Jack Glover, tried to have him court-martialed for refusing to carry a rifle. He was saved from military prison only by a last-minute argument that he had a legal right to serve as a non-combatant. Stop. He was a man completely alone in a sea of uniformed brothers. But through it all, he never held a grudge. He met their hate with quiet courtesy and never once backed down from his principles. The men of his platoon saw a coward who wouldn't touch a gun. They had no idea they were looking at the man who would soon crawl through hell to save every last one of them. By 1944, the 77th Infantry Division was in the Pacific. On the battlefields of Guam and Leyte, the way people saw Desmond Doss started to change. As bullets whizzed overhead and mortars tore the world apart, the cry of "medic" would ring out, and every single time, the coward was the first one running toward the sound. While other men dove for cover, Doss would scramble across open ground to reach a fallen comrade. He was awarded 2 Bronze Star medals for his repeated bravery under fire. The men who once made fun of him now respected him. They knew if they went down, Doss would risk it all to get to them. But nothing could have prepared them for the island of Okinawa. In late April 1945, Doss's unit was ordered to assault the Maeda Escarpment, a 400-foot cliff so brutal the soldiers called it Hacksaw Ridge. The Japanese had spent years turning it into a fortress, a maze of machine gun nests and hidden tunnels. On April 29th, the assault began, with men climbing the cliff face on cargo nets. The fighting was an apocalypse. For days, the soldiers were locked in a savage struggle. Doss was everywhere, treating the wounded right in the line of fire, sometimes so close to the enemy he could hear them whispering. On May 5th, a Saturday, his Sabbath, he went forward with his company for another huge assault. This time, the Japanese counterattack was overwhelming. A furious storm of artillery, mortar, and machine gun fire slammed into the American lines, causing horrific casualties. The order was given: retreat. The surviving soldiers scrambled back down the cargo nets, fleeing the slaughter on the ridge. But when they got to the bottom, they had a horrifying realization. They had left an estimated 75 of their comrades behind, wounded, dying, and scattered across the plateau. They were left for dead. But one man didn't retreat. Desmond Doss, the only medic still on the ridge, stood alone in the middle of the carnage. He looked out over the field of bodies, heard the cries of his men, and made a choice. While the others ran from the fire, he ran back into it. Covered in blood and dirt, he found his first wounded man, treated him, and dragged him 100 yards to the edge of the cliff. He looped a rope around a tree stump, tied a special knot he'd perfected, and single-handedly lowered the soldier down the sheer rock face to safety. As soon as that soldier was safe, Doss turned back into the storm and whispered a prayer. "Lord, please help me get one more." For the next 12 hours, under constant enemy fire, he did it again, and again, and again. He crawled from one wounded soldier to the next, patching them up as mortars exploded around him and bullets zipped past his head. After treating each man, he would drag or carry them to the cliff's edge and lower them to the medics below. And after each one, he'd repeat his prayer: "Lord, help me get one more." He saved the men who had cursed him, the men who had beaten him, and even the captain who had tried to kick him out of the army. He rescued an estimated 75 men that day, men who would have died if not for the coward who refused to leave them. His ordeal still wasn't over. Weeks later, on May 21st, a grenade landed in a shell hole with Doss and a few other men. He tried to kick it away, but it went off, riddling his legs with 17 pieces of shrapnel. Wounded and exposed, he treated his own injuries and waited 5 hours for help. When medics finally got to him with a stretcher, they were caught in a tank attack. Doss saw another man who was more critically wounded, so he crawled off his own stretcher and told the medics to take the other guy first. While waiting for them to come back, a sniper's bullet shattered his arm. He grabbed a discarded rifle stock to make a splint for his own broken arm, and then crawled 300 yards over rough ground to an aid station. His war was finally over. The men of the 77th Infantry Division didn't see a coward anymore. They saw a savior. His name became a legend in the division, a symbol of courage beyond the call of duty. The soldiers who once refused to fight alongside him now wouldn't go into battle without him. In the days after Hacksaw Ridge, they would wait to attack until Doss had finished praying for them. They didn't share his faith, but they sure believed in him. On October 12, 1945, Private First Class Desmond Doss stood on the White House lawn. President Harry S. Truman placed the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest award for valor, around his neck. Doss was the first conscientious objector in American history to ever receive it. As he shook the unarmed medic's hand, President Truman said, "I'm proud of you. You really deserve this. I consider this a greater honor than being president." The war left deep scars. Doss spent more than 5 years in hospitals battling tuberculosis, which cost him a lung and 5 ribs. Later, an overdose of antibiotics left him deaf for over a decade. But he lived a long, humble life, rarely talking about what he did and always giving the credit to God. Desmond Doss proved that courage isn't about being fearless. It's about acting in spite of your fear. He showed the world that heroism doesn't always come from the barrel of a gun, but from the conviction to save a life. His legacy is an incredible reminder of what one person can achieve when they stand for something greater than themselves. If you were as inspired by this story as we were, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more tales of unbelievable heroes. The men Desmond Doss served with confused his refusal to kill with an inability to fight. But Doss fought harder than anyone. He just fought to save lives instead of taking them. He ran into the same battles, faced the same enemy, and endured the same hell on earth as every other soldier. He just did it without a weapon, armed only with his medic's kit and a faith that could move mountains. He was the man they called a coward, and he became the hero who carried them out of the fire. The men he saved got to live full lives, have children and grandchildren, all because one quiet medic prayed for the strength to save just one more.